Okay, I'm having one of those days where my brain seems to want to go way quicker than what I am actually able to get out of my own mouth. So I'm making this video to show what it's like a day in the life of a man who struggles with ADHD, runs a business, has his own gym, travels around the world, 2 kids, a wife that obviously I adore and want to do everything right for. And yet some days it's like this where I can literally pour my eyeballs out. I'm so frustrated that my brain just doesn't seem to want to fire. As much as I'm learning about this, it's about the executive function of being able to prioritize things and systemize things. And sometimes just getting things done can feel like I have to solve a really difficult mathematics equation that scientifically is nigh on impossible for my brain to start working. Yet other days, like yesterday, I literally couldn't stop myself. Making money, making business, getting things done, it felt so easy yesterday. So I'm going to break down some things that I've really noticed about myself and where I have habits that haven't aligned with my goals in the future and where they've held me back. So that hopefully as you're watching this video, you might get a little golden nugget of something you realize that you're not doing or messing up on. So the first thing is my food. I have always been terrible at tracking my food. Meal prep for me, yes, I can do it. It gets rather boring. I prefer to just go to a shop, there's an Aldi right next to where I charge my Tesla. They happen to have loads of really highlighted protein stuff. So I went in there, walked in there the other day and I was like, actually, let's be honest with you, I can waste thousands of pounds here going in M&S and buying everything. In Aldi, I got it for a fraction of the price. And I've literally just almost prepped out all my day's worth of food within 20 minutes. And I now know what I need to eat every day and stick with it, right? Now, you might be someone who prefers to prep their food. You might be someone who prefers to just be on the fly and create things, right? But obviously you want to stick within those macros. Every time that you allow yourself to overeat because it's a dopamine hit. I used to eat food because literally my brain was just struggling. And maybe I was having personal stuff going on or business was difficult and I would go to the food, right? Because it would give me that dopamine hit, it would give me some sort of comfort. I wouldn't say I was a heavy emotional eater, but what I would say is that I didn't realize my brain was just looking for a hit. And I've really noticed it today, I've been really craving food all day, right? And obviously with this diet, I'm trying to get super lean. I can't keep smashing back food, okay? That leads me on to the next part, which is caffeine. Now, caffeine is either your best friend or your biggest enemy, right? Mentally, I think if I have more caffeine, then I can just push past this tiredness block. But every single time I do it, all I do is just delay the tiredness until I literally crash. And it's complete nothing. And I think yesterday, the way we're doing my diet, I'm having higher protein days and then lower fats and carbs just to get my body to shift. It works for the fat loss process. In terms of how my brain works and how it works for me, Thursdays are often a bit of a heavier day. I train legs as well on a Thursday. I could swap that around a little bit, but we've kind of got a system and I don't really want to change that. But if you are abusing caffeine, you're getting it up way too early. I have to drink water first thing in the morning. And I will admit, I made a fuck up this morning and I had a can of Monster first thing before drinking any water. What then happens? Get to the gym, see another can of Monster. I think, oh great, that'll give me another perk. And within 2 hours, I've had 2 cans of Monster, more caffeine than I actually need. And then all of a sudden I'm craving caffeine all day long and I'm thinking it's going to help me get out of it and it never ever does. So please, 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 if you do struggle with ADHD and maybe you get more addictive tendencies like I do to food, I had it in the past where I'd have bad things like porn where I just I was looking for a dopamine hit, something to spike my energy, give me that alive feeling, right? I was constantly chasing that feeling of more and now knowing that that's where my dopamine levels sit, that they're sitting lower, and I haven't had an official test yet, but everything is lining up with it, and the impulsivity, the lack of clarity, then all of a sudden I can run through walls. The big things that I notice for me that steer me off of the food and the caffeine. For me, this is my gym, this is where I make content from, this is where I help other people do photo shoots, video stuff, right? For me, when I'm with people, I almost switch off to it. My energy is there. My office is back through here. When I sit here on my desk, not moving, it does this. and it does this, and it does this. The only way I can caveat that is to actually make content and actually stand here, talk, make videos, like get up and move, go out for a walk. Like I have to keep like really high on that because like I said, I have those crashes, and like I said, I want to make more coffee, I want to have more caffeine, I want to eat more food, right? So there's some of the big things that I really notice in my days that I struggle with. And I've just been to Dubai for a couple of days doing some content with another business owner. And I noticed how like my brain was firing so much trying to look for that like kind of hit, whilst I was sat with a load of other guys and we were just having a good chat about like business, about life, about struggles, and being around like-minded people. And that's something that I really want to like highlight to you. You might be quite introverted and find that you actually like your own space. For me, I'm way too extroverted. Too long being by myself, I go a little bit stir crazy. So I have to get up and talk, meet people, go to a coffee shop, like do something to just be around, almost hear voices. Like it gives me that level of like, oh, I'm not alone, and like I actually get some like stimulated off of it, right? So there's some big things that I've really noticed in myself. Now, where else has this crept in? I also notice like I get very addicted to wanting a certain feeling. That can be, you know, I'm a grown man with a wife and 2 children, right? It could be intimacy. Like if I get really like, I want intimacy, it's almost like my brain won't switch off to it, right? If I want to go out and go somewhere and I can't, or I can't do the thing I want to, like I'm almost like hyperfixate on it, right? And one of the big things that I've noticed is like I hone in on it. It's like, like I had a like in this, it's like having a zoom lens. It's like I'm right in here and I can't get away from it, right? And it often takes me quite a lot to be able to zoom out, and I need that like complete reset, almost like a kid, you know, they're crying, you give them a toy and it changes everything, right? I have to like pivot away and go and do something radically different, right? I'd go and train, I'd go and run, or I'd go and exercise, or like I'd even go and play golf for like half hour, just to switch my brain off, to like context switch and just completely go to something else, get some stimulation from somewhere else. And this is where I'm telling you it's really healthy to find good ways to get natural stimulant from, right? Whether it is like cold water to the face. I have literally been going through water like no one's business, right? And I put it in the freezer. Ice cold water seems to do me a lot of good because it's almost like that like bit of a shock to the system. Getting out for a walk, right? Like it is, go play golf, go down a drive range for half hour. Go find something that you can do for a small amount of time that gives you that separation away from it. Because when my mind's in that and I need to pivot it, I need to be able to zoom out. I need to get that wider perspective. Otherwise, I just go like this, and it's not fun for anyone, you know. And then I'm with my kids. I get like, I wouldn't say like I take it out on them, but like I know I'm not as good as what I want to be with them, and obviously that's not a life that I want to live. And especially if you have got kids and you're seeing the same patterns here, obviously running a business is stressful. Like, you know, if you want to make sales, all you think about is that sales that day. You know, context switching for us is like, we love it because we feel like we can fight fires, but then we also don't close any of those chapters off, so then we've got all of these tabs open, right? And you're probably noticing by the way that this video has gone on for 10 minutes and it's jumped all over the place, just how my brain works on days like this. But I'm trying to share it and show it a bit more, because the reality is like people struggle with this and they don't know how to use it, win, make better, like just get away from the problem. So I'm going to finish this with a couple of little like tips, and like I said, like I've kind of probably front loaded a load of this stuff. Really get your nutrition in check, right? I even found an ADHD nutritionist the other day, and a lot of these things like linked to gut health and everything else like that. If you're constantly getting overwhelmed, stressed, frustrated, that's why you put on like, you know, it's easy to eat too much food because you're just chasing a dopamine hit. Then if you are stressed or having tough times, ADHD is often about environment, because we often have a bigger heart and we want to be around the right environment. If we're not, like that's where we do this. So make sure that you have got good food choices around you that you can either snack on or like, you know, break up during your day. One of the other things, if you are someone who eats a lot of food or likes to eat food and want a little hack, I have found here that if I go and buy all my supplements but get the gummy version of them, I can then sit there and have one every 20 minutes, half hour, and it's like having a sweet. That's one little hack that I've found, and you can buy them in Sainsbury's, Tesco's, whatever, like the gummies, they're easy to find, right? So that's one thing around nutrition. Sleep is obviously a massive thing. I've noticed a huge amount of difference in my clarity, mental clarity, and just like being happy when I sleep better. Caffeine, obviously it lasts in your body for a long time. If you don't know about caffeine, it's got like a full life of 6 hours and a half-life of 12 hours. If you're having a coffee at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, that's still in your system like when you're going to sleep. And it's not necessarily like, because I don't struggle with falling asleep, it's the quality of my sleep. And that's the big thing that you need to focus on, is the quality of your sleep. So if you're eating well, and then you're reducing your caffeine, and then you're, like for me, exercising and getting the best out of my body, that puts my mind in a way better place. So focus on quality of sleep. If you can pull the caffeine back, if you can focus on doing things, maybe that you need to take that little bit of a break like I'm doing here and recording a video, so it gets me out of that slump that I was in, so I can go back and get on with work. And I've actually ticked off another box, which is getting another YouTube video out. Environment is unbelievably key. If you're around people that aren't benefiting you, that aren't guiding you in the right direction, that aren't giving you what you need to solve that. Now that could be at work, that could be at home, that could be friends, that could be in the gym, it could be in a sports club, whatever, right? I've had it in multiple areas of my life. I've had it at work, I've had it at home, I've had it in business. And you know, you're gonna go through it time to time in your relationship as well. Like, you know, we're all to blame for ups and downs in our relationship. We're all human, we're all gonna make mistakes, right? But your environment is a key one here. This is where you need a good open conversation with your partner to be able to settle the tone, get yourselves into the right place, understand where you're struggling with things, and go, actually, do you know what, if I can get this, this, and this, I will feel better, I'll be able to give you more. That doesn't mean one tit for tat, that just means, hey, this is a good environment for me. If you can create that, because it creates your successful platform to go and build upon, it's big. Like, I can't tell you how big it is. So make sure your environment and the people that you are around are like this. And if they're not good for you, it is your sign to take control and move and shift away from that, or spend as little time with them as possible, right? And I think the other big hack here is that understanding that your body is just trying to chase dopamine. If you are struggling with ADHD, and like I said, I'm awaiting my official test, but like I'm 99% sure I've got it. Otherwise, I'm basically just a whinging bag of excuses, but I'm 99% sure I have got it because every other symptom shows up, right? And I've even just forgotten what I was going to talk about then, which is obviously brilliant here, right? But the whole point is that you're in this environment where you're low in dopamine. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you can't actually be phenomenal. And so many high-performing people that achieve unbelievably drastically big things and financial achievements, life-changing stuff, most of them struggle with a level of ADHD, right? A lot of people go undiagnosed for years, and the more I've read into it, the more I've realized how common it is, and this is the reason why we like those. We're very good at problem solving. We're very good at seeing patterns and seeing how things can be done differently, and we're often very good at plugging that gap. And then when you can step into your zone of genius, when you find what you're brilliant at, that's when you can really take things to another level, because A, we're more risk averse, B, we see opportunities and just kind of disregard the financial risk more often than not. But also we're in that place where we can see the gap and we want to fill it because we know that's what our purpose is, because we think differently to everyone else, and that's why we're good. So don't sit there and think like, just because I have this like brain inside of me that works the way it does, that I'm bad or I'm not good enough. Actually, a lot of the time it's a superpower, you just haven't maybe tapped into it yet, or if you have tapped into it, you realize just how powerful it is, and you're just trying to control it like I am as much as possible without medication. I'm probably going to try the medication if I get allowed to have it, and obviously everything goes through, just to see what the difference is. But the big thing that I want to say here is that because you have those lower dopamine, you have to realize when you're chasing those things. In the morning, I realize we're like scrolling on my phone, you know, going for food straight away, not drinking water straight away. And obviously like hydrating yourself with electrolytes and so on, right? Getting out, like literally moving, like 5 to 10 minutes of movement can drastically change your day. Even if you're not someone who loves the gym, 5 to 10 minutes of like a little like jog around the block, or like some press ups at home, or something that's just a little bit more like gets your heart rate going and gets you moving, will drastically change your day. I find it massively helps me. And you have to start to realize when you're in a low dopamine state that that's what you're doing and chasing it. I never used to know that. I couldn't see the signals. I just kept eating, kept drinking, whatever. And I've had days where I've had like 8 cans of Monster in a day, right? And trust me, it's not good. So I hope you got a load of wisdom and nuggets from that. Like, I need to wrap this up because I do need to get on with other work now, and I feel like I've kind of got my energy and my zone back. If you found this useful, amazing. Please follow, subscribe, like the video, drop like comment in the down below about what you found useful and what things you found that have maybe helped you, or what things you've taken away from this video. And I generally hope that like if you're on the process of like improving and learning about yourself, that you keep going, because honestly, like ever since I made that big decision to put all my investment into myself and develop personally and build my own thing, it's changed my life, it's changed my family life, and it's made me a far better person. So please never give up on that journey of progressing.